Hi kindergartners. Today we're going to be using our MyMath textbook and we're using volume 1. That's the really thick one. You got these textbooks at the beginning of the year and we haven't used them yet. So go ahead and pause the video and go find this textbook. Remember, it's volume 1. It's the super thick one. You don't need the thin one for today. We'll use that much later in the year. Now, we're going to need to find a page in this book, and it's kind of a skill to find the right page. So when you open the book, you'll see it has the first few pages all kind of look the same. And if you skip a chunk, you'll start to get into numbers. So this is about numbers 0 to 5. I'm going to keep skipping chunks. And you'll also notice this book has page numbers at the bottom. We're going to skip kind of a lot of pages. We're going to skip this many pages and go to page 179. If you are looking at pages that do not have a number 1 at the beginning, you need to keep going. If you get as far into the book as numbers with a 2 at the beginning, you're in the 200s. You've gone a little too far. If you get into the 300s, you're definitely too far. And this book is so big that it even has 400s. We're looking for page 179, and it looks just like this. It has numbers 11 and 12. It's got a big blue arrow at the top and a playground scene with some 10 frames. If you need help from a grown-up to find page 179, please ask for help. Otherwise, know that you're skipping about half the book, maybe a little less than half, until you find this page. So it should say 1, and then 7, and then 9. Here's the number bigger. Go ahead and pause this video until you find this page. Now that you've found this page, you'll also need something to write with. I'm using a pen just because it's a little easier to see on the video. You need to use a pencil. Please do not use a pen, use a pencil. You also need to find your math tools bag. At the bottom of every page in MyMath, if it tells you to use a tool, it will show a picture of the tool. And in this case, the picture that it's asking us to use are our little red and yellow counters. So go ahead and find your red and yellow counters. If you don't have them near you, pause the video and go get them. I'll wait here. Okay, now that you have your red and yellow counters as well as a pencil, we're ready to begin. The teacher directions say, starting with the 10 frame above the playground. Ooh, this is challenging us. It wants us to use the one above the playground. Is this one above the playground or is this one above the playground? Well, above means on top of or in the air, near, not below. So we're looking at this one. That's the one above the playground. Fill the 10 frames with red counters to show number 11 and 12. Count and say the number of objects. These are our objects in this case. Objects just means things. Trace a counter in each 10 frame box to show the number 12. So that's our target number. We're looking at 12. Trace the number. So go ahead and open up your bag. It says, fill the 10 frames with red dots to show the number 11 and 12. So we need to show 11 first. We always remember that our 10 frame needs to be full before we can move on to the next one. And when a 10 frame is full, we can call it 10. So I'm going to place red dots until my 10 frame is full. You go ahead and do the same. Is it full yet? Not yet. I'm filling them up from left to right and then going to the next line when I run out of space. That's exactly how we do when we're writing. We start at the left and we go to the right. Is it full yet? Not yet. Now that's full. When a 10 frame is full, we can call it 10. Now our target number is 11. That's our first number that we need to make, and then we will make 12. First make 11, then make 12. Just like the top of the page says, numbers 11 and 12. Be careful, because now that these are on your book, if you bump your book, it might fall. So we know this is 10, and we need to get to 11. There are two ways to find number 11. Either we can count all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or we can count on. So the first strategy was count all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Count on is when we start with a number we already know, like we know that a full 10 frame is 10, and then we continue counting from there. So we can say the number we already know, 10, 11. Now, let's look at our instructions again. Start with the 10 frame above the playground. Fill the 10 frames with red circles to show number 11 and 12. We did 11, check. Now we need to do 12. So, the same as we did before, we can either count all or we can count on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's our count all strategy. Or we can count on. Start with the number we know. We already built 11 and we know it's 11. 11, 12. That's our count on strategy. Both are okay. Did we build 11? Check. Did we build 12? Check. Count and say the number of objects. Okay, let's count them. Put your finger up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I used the touch and count strategy. I touched each item as I counted. In this case, the move and count strategy would not work for me because I don't want to move them out of my 10 frame. That would not help me. It would help me lose count. Instead, I chose to use touch and count. I could also use point and count if I had my finger up here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My finger is high off the page. I'm not touching them, just pointing. Count and say the number of objects. Well, the last number I said out loud when I was counting was 12, and that means that there are 12. Trace a counter in each 10 frame box to show the number 12. All right, trace means to draw around. This might be a little tricky because our circles are a little bit bigger than our spaces in our 10 frame. So I'm gonna do my best. Instead of tracing all the way around, I'm gonna pick it up and draw a circle underneath it. And be very careful not to move the other ones. So I'm just moving this one and drawing my best circle underneath. I'm gonna move it to the side. I'll keep going. Now let's double check that my circles match how many we should have. We should have 12, that's what we built. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, I traced a counter in each 10 frame box to show the number 12. Check. Trace the number. Where do we start our numbers? I hope you said at the top. Start at the top, pull straight down. Number 1. Start at the top, circle forward, slant left, slide right. Number 2, a 1 next to a 2 makes 12. Now for the next part, I'm going to move my counters to the side. I don't know if I still need them, so I'm not going to put them away yet. I'm going to go ahead and turn the page. Alrighty. I am on the next page, number 180. I am going to let you do this next part on your own. It says count the objects, say how many. Remember, objects just means things. So count how many things there are and say how many. You can use touch and count. You can use point and count. You can count all, or you can count on. If you already know the 10 frame is full, you can call it 10 and keep counting from 10. Then it says use workmat for encounters to show the number. If you would like to, you can use this page in your packet. Your packet starts with an alphabet chart. You can use this page to use your counters and show the number. These counters are a little too big to fit in the 10 frame on your math book, but they will fit very well on here. Now, if you choose to use this, please do not write on it with pencil. If you write on this with pencil, you will not get to use it again. You can put it inside a sleeve like this if you would like to be able to write on it using dry erase marker. But really, you don't need to write on it for this. So go ahead and build the number, then trace the number. You'll need to trace the number 3 times. The same thing over here. Build the number on your 10 frames, then trace the number. The next part, they give you the number and you need to show it on the 10 frames. You can show it with circles. You can show it with stars. You can show it with happy faces. You can show it with squares. Put whatever you would like to show the number. Remember, fill up a whole 10 frame before you move on to the next one. Go ahead and try this on your own. I understand it's the first time we're using our math book. I'm very excited to see what you're able to do with it. When you have done these 2 pages, please take a photo and send it to me on Seesaw.